Alright. Hi everybody, thank you for coming. It means a lot to me and I know to all my classmates that you all are here. My name is Abi Brock and this is my senior showcase.
I'm going to turn you up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a giant picture of my face. Alright, this is me 3.5 years ago when I was a freshman. And though we don't look, I guess, terribly different, I was a very different person at this point in my life. I was incredibly insecure, non-assertive, and basically scared of everything. I was stuck in a multitude of toxic relationships in my interpersonal life that were holding me back that I didn't even realize. This includes relationships with my then boyfriend and former friends that I had. I was so confused about who I was as a person and what I wanted to be. But I masked this fear with apathy. I thought it didn't matter, that I could just be by myself and hide out alone. I thought I was an introvert, and really I was just scared. And I masked this fear with incredible apathy, which is kind of shown, I guess, in this strange picture. This was my freshman year. My sophomore year, I moved in with these 3 girls. This is Sophia, myself, Emily, and Lacey. These were all girls that were older than me, and they kind of took me into their home. They all lived together before. And this was an environment that I'd never had before. They were incredibly supportive, caring, but they were still flawed and crazy, but we were all like that together. This was the time that I started strengthening personal relationships in my life, but I hadn't even entered the communication department yet, so I had no idea what was coming. This was the point in my life when I realized that the fear of being vulnerable and looking stupid were the only things holding me back in life. That year, things finally ended with my then boyfriend at the time, and I realized that there were so many people in my life that had been there all along that I never truly appreciated. This is my feet. This is a tattoo that I have on my foot that I got at this point in my life after I'd moved past a lot of things. I remember when I was getting it done, the man who was doing it asked me why, like what the significance was. And for me, this was a symbol of moving forward. The arrow moves forward even if it's being pulled back, which I know is a little bit cheesy, but this was such an important milestone in my life, this time period, that I had to do it. And it's also about recognizing my own strength. After this summer, I started taking a lot more of my core classes in the communication department, including the class that basically changed my outlook, which was my Intro to Comm Theory class with Dr. Newsom, who's here. Yeah, here. Thank you. In class, we were talking about things that I had never heard of before, but that were completely changing my life in the way that I thought. So in these classes, we often talked about the importance of social media in our new world, in the society that we live in today. So I thought that I would share some of my own tweets they show what I was going through at that time. Okay, so I have such gems like, oh whoops. I've never eaten so many chicken tenders so fast in my whole life. I have all caps quote from Top Gun that was written at 1:30 in the morning. And then I have this, getting really heated up about the agenda setting theory. Hashtag Tom Studies Props. This was after a class that I had with Dr. Newsom, and this to me represents so much because most of my Twitter and my other social media sites are just complete nonsense and dribble. But this was a time when I was so moved by something and so passionate about something that I was learning that I tweeted it to my friends and my followers. I didn't get any favorites on this, but that's okay. All right. And this just shows that this is where I was supposed to be. This was the first time that something hit me so hard that it really resonated deep inside of me, and I was passionate and I was angry, and I went home that weekend to a party and told all my friends about it, that our lives are being controlled by corporations. So I was that person at the party. Later I started taking classes with Dr. Benton, and I remember my first thought was, oh crap, this lady is no joke. I'm gonna have to actually get emotional and talk to people about things that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. The two classes that I took with her that were so impactful were listening, like Annie Rose and Brittany mentioned. This was a class that took me by surprise. I remember I told my father about this class, and he said, "Are you getting credit for it?" Because we don't often think of listening as something that is that important, which it really is. After I was taking these classes, I just kept thinking, why isn't everybody taking these? I was thinking these comm studies classes should be general ed. This is how our world functions, and everyone else is just missing out. I was learning about things that I was so incredibly passionate and actually interested in. For instance, in one class, I got to write a paper called "The Importance of Male Relationships in Lord of the Rings" and a feminist viewing of Legally Blonde. And I was thriving academically. And I was just so deeply interested and continue to be in what I'm learning about. All aspects of my personal life were also thriving. These are some of my dumb, beautiful friends who keep me going throughout all of this. This is my family. This is not a current picture, but it's my favorite family picture. The denim 90s. That's more current of me and my siblings. And throughout the classes that I was taking, I was learning about things that are truly going to stick with me throughout a lifetime. And one of the things that I'm most thankful for is the way that it's impacted my relationship with my family, especially my siblings, because they're all older than me, and I often felt that I wasn't worthy or I wasn't included of being in their group because I was younger. But now I realize that that was literally all in my head, and I'm making it up. And since then, my relationship with all three of my siblings has improved incredibly, and I'm so thankful for that. This is my boyfriend, and I would be lying if I said I hadn't used things I'd learned on him from my interpersonal classes. And this relationship never would have happened if I hadn't allowed myself to be vulnerable. And it's one of the greatest things that I've gotten out of my degree and my personal life combined. These are some other important men in my life. These are people that I admire, that provoke and inspire me. And through learning things that these men have, and others that I've learned about, I've learned that what we do matters. And a lot of people think that communication studies is a general education degree, basically, that you went to college, here's your degree. I've heard that from people. And they don't understand that everything that we learn about affects some part of our lives in society. Our personal, professional, and interpersonal lives are all influenced by communication, whether people acknowledge it or not. So looking forward, I don't know where I'm going to go from here, but I'm not scared anymore to find out. And I know that I can handle any situation that I needed to based on the skills that I've learned through my degree program. And I am so thankful that I ended up in this area, and I'm so thankful to all my teachers and the university for giving me the opportunity to be the person that I am today.